Good morning, my friends, and welcome back to the channel. Today, we are working on none other than the twin turbo NSX build, the NSX project, the car that I feel like is never gonna be done. I must say this shot right here is pretty cool. My two biggest projects I've ever done. The Evo 8 full restoration, that car was a well over a year build. Now the NSX. We are well over a year deep into this build as well. Yesterday, we installed the APG Renegade big brake kit on the car. We had a leak, so it could not bleed the system. I got here very early this morning, kind of frustrated, pissed off. Went ahead, got the leak fixed, did a little bit of finagling, let's just call it that. Leak is now fixed. The first thing we're gonna get done today is get this big brake set up, bled, and working. Really wanna go drive the car, but unfortunately now, the old ugly wheels don't fit. Thankfully the car is 5 on 114. I have like 10 other sets of 5 on 114 wheels laying around the shop, so I could slap them on the car, and go for a rip. But first off, let's get this brake system bled. Interesting sequence of bleed on the NSX. Right rear, left front, left rear, right front. It all depends on how the manufacturer routed the lines. So that's what we've got to do on the NSX. Currently you have 30 pounds of pressure on the cap. Before, even 10 pounds would make that line leak. As you can see, she's dry, no leaks. If you don't have yourself a hydraulic pressure bleeder pot, get one. It makes it so easy to bleed brakes and clutch. The rear brakes on this car are going to be a little interesting, being that the actual brake line comes to the e-brake section first. There's a bleeder there, and then there's another line that runs from the e-brake cylinder over to the actual caliper, and there's two bleeders on the caliper. In my mind, it makes the most sense to go ahead and bleed the e-brake cylinder first. As soon as that's bled out, swap over to the actual caliper. I'm getting no pressure, no air, no fluid, no nothing to the caliper. Went ahead and cracked the union right there. Still nothing right there. So there's got to be something in the hard line that runs from the master. It runs in the cabin and then splits off right on this rear deck. So I got to pull this interior back apart to diagnose what is going on. I'm just gonna go ahead and blow the line out all the way from the junction right here, all the way to the caliper. She is freaking completely clogged. I'm gonna try to blow it the other way. If I gotta pull this line off the car, that is a big undertaking, a lot of work. So I injected about 200 PSI of air through the line each way. It is completely plugged. So what I'm gonna do is use the brakes. The brake system can apply at least 1,000 PSI, maybe more, through the line. So I'm gonna have the brake line off the caliper, mash on the brakes as hard as I can. Hopefully whatever crap is in there will get pushed out. Sometimes in life, you just gotta shut up, get to work, figure out the problem. I have the entire brake line off. That runs from the master cylinder all the way to the right rear caliper. And I believe I have found the source of the issue. So, could not see this while I was on the car. This bend right here, right where the frame rail connects back to the firewall. Now if you guys remember back, I bought this car, it was totaled. I'm guessing that this brake line got damaged in the wreck. That right rear caliper probably never worked when I drove the car. So what I'm thinking is, I should be able to fix this by getting some stuff from O'Reilly's. But first, let's cut it right here. Make sure this is the source of the issue. It was slightly cracked, so it's very, very slightly leaking. but I also think it's pinched. And I'll be the first to tell you guys, pulling off this giant line while the car is complete is not fun. So if you don't have to do it, please never do it. We had two issues with the line. First off, that tiny little crack right where the car was wrecked, right in this front corner. I cut the line. This section still had a clog, so I ran a wire through the entire thing. And all this little black gunk came out as soon as I flushed it with brake cleaner. I don't know what it is. It's black. It kind of feels rubbery. So either way, the line's now clean. I'm gonna add a union right where I cut it, fixing the leak, and then we can get this line back on the car, finally bleeding out the brakes. This was supposed to be a 15-minute ordeal bleeding brakes. It is now 4 hours later. Back from O'Reilly's, here's what I picked up. Flare kit. Initially, I was just gonna use a compression fitting. They don't seem very sturdy to me. So I'm just gonna go ahead, flare the hose, both sides where we cut it. Of course, putting the nuts on first and just use a union, kind of like how they would from the factory. There are a few different unions on the car, one being right back here. This is what I ended up with. Kind of sucks it's not factory. You cannot physically buy a replacement OEM line. To remake all of this out of new hard line would take forever when you can simply just add a union. Plus it's hidden anyway, not a big deal. Let's get this line back on the car. And if we don't have any more issues with our brake system, we can finally edit blood. Brake line is back on. I'm not gonna reassemble the interior until I know that my fitting doesn't leak. So with that being said, let's attempt to bleed out the right rear caliper. All right, we got movement. That's all I could ask for. Nice. Here comes the fluid. Finally. What should have been a 15-minute job turned into a whole day ordeal. It's actually the next morning. Brakes are finally fully bled out and they feel fantastic. That's nice. Granted, we're not driving right now. I need wheels to drive. So I ordered these wheels a long time ago. Let's see. Ship date, September 17th, 2024. I've been building this car for way too long. I bought these wheels when this car wasn't supposed to be anything crazy, and they've been sitting on the shelf for about 1.5 years. So I guess you could say these are gonna be a most likely temporary set of wheels for the NSX build. Let's open them up, make sure they clear the brakes, get some tires installed, and we can go for a drive. These wheels came when I was in the different shop. Dude, that's rough. Undoubtedly, they're gonna look very, very nice on the car. So these are Ray's Grandlight 57 DRs. Now, in my opinion, NSXs need a staggered setup. 1817, 1918, unless you're going like a 17 front, 15 beadlock rear like I initially wanted to, which of course we can't with the big brake kit. They need a bigger rear than the front, otherwise they just don't look balanced, in my opinion. So these are 19 by 10.5 for the rear, and I think an 18 by, well, it says right here, 18, 8.5 up front. Again, most likely gonna be temporary, which is fine. Really conflicted on what to do with wheels for this car. The front brakes require at least an 18-inch wheel to clear. We could do a reverse stagger setup, which I think is gonna look funny, like a 17 rear, 18 front with a meaty ET Street drag radial in the rear. I just feel like it's gonna look dumb. Either way, we can deal with that later. For now, let's get these installed. We very well may be able to run a 17 up front. I was told 18 was the minimum to clear the brakes. I think we could squeeze a 17 on here. I'd much rather go 17, 18 versus 19, 18. The black NSX has 18, 17. Those brakes they're a big brake kit made by StopTech, but they are a little bit smaller. 320 mil rotor versus a 340 like we have on that car. But let's pull off one of the Advans and just do a test fit. So that thing has some locking lugs. I did not get the key with the car, so I cannot pull those wheels. I tried to test fit an old wheel and it's not even close. But I feel like with the gram lights, I feel like a 17 would clear. I may order just one, kind of an expensive test. Order just one to, you know what? I have one. I got one up there. Hey, look at that. 17-inch 57 DRs clear. Now don't mind the giant tire. These are R888's Evo 10 spec, but the right 17-inch will clear the brakes. Good news, I'm officially gonna go 17, 18 long term. For now, 18, 19 it is. Yeah, I know we kind of need a body on this thing to tell how it's gonna look when it's all said and done, but that is a big upgrade from what we had on here. Obviously they cleared the brakes just fine, being 19s and 18s. One thing with a lot of wheels for NSX spec, the rears look great, nice and concave. You guys see this is a 10.5 wide rear. The front, if you're running a stock body, it's a very, very flat face, which is a little subpar looking, you could say. Let's attempt a nice little cruise down the road. Very pointless to try and drive this thing anymore. I need to link up with Brian, the tuner, to get this thing dialed up. Brakes feel amazing. We don't have ABS, of course, on this car anymore, so they do lock up, which is fine. All we need to drive this thing down the road, some light tuning adjustments or heavy tuning adjustments, because as you can see, don't really run. It starts and idles. That's all the tuning we've done so far. So we got to get that dialed in, maybe get some more lug nuts on, bolt my seats down, a slight alignment because these wheels are all over the place, and we can go for a nice little rip. Imagine this thing doing a big old freaking burnout right now. with no body. That's the plan, maybe tomorrow. Going to end out the day with a nice quick oil change, hopefully quick, on the 2nd gen NSX. I'm really curious to see what a dealer charges to do an oil change on the new NSX. A few months back, I called the dealer to get the oil change done on the Huracan, and it was absurd. It was thousands of dollars to get it done by a dealer. I think the NSX is probably gonna be less than $1,000 for a dealer to do it. I can do it for like 50 bucks, but let's give it a shot. Hi, I need an oil change done on a 2017 NSX.
We should be able to help you out with that. Obviously, it's a little more involved than a regular oil change, so it's not one we expect you to wait around for because it'll take a while. Just a basic oil change with the oil filter and the inspection is kind of like the basic one. That one is $635 for that one. It takes like a full day, you know.
Honestly, that is not horrible at all. The OEM Acura oil filter is $20.77. And the recommended oil, which is liquid moly, 0W40 for 8 liters, is $102.93. Let's get this thing up in the air and get it knocked out. The under tray is removed, went ahead and identified all of the drain plugs. We got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and right up there we got number 7. Well, that didn't go as planned. Maybe I should have just paid the dealer. Oil change is done. Now the manual says, start up the engine, hold it at 3,000 RPMs till the fan kicks on, till the oil is warm, shut it off, let it sit for 2 minutes, check the oil level. If the oil level is good, you're done. If you gotta add oil, add oil. That's one thing that's always frustrated me with the new NSX, and it's a good thing, but you can't turn off traction control all the way. It always has significant control over the car. Like the 3RS, for example, you can turn it off all the way and just send it as hard as you want. This car, if you turn it off as much as you can, as you guys just saw, it'll still cut all the power. Other than that, it's a great car.